After the end of the First World War, Germany found itself crushed by defeat. An unsatisfactory peace settlement, massive inflation, and an unprecedented economic collapse left the nation on its knees. Despite possessing enormous industrial potential, factories, skilled labor, and established companies, Germany was no longer the powerful empire it had once been. It was only a shadow of the former monarchy that had dominated Europe before the war. Yet between 1933 and 1941, Germany accomplished something it had failed to achieve during the First World War. It built a new military force that appeared unstoppable, an army defined by speed, coordination, and precise communication. This force caught Europe's major powers completely off guard. By the end of 1941, Germany and its allies controlled nearly all of continental Europe. German soldiers stood within sight of Moscow, and many observers believed total German victory was inevitable. So how did this happen? The explanation goes far beyond simple military efficiency. Germany's early success was the result of political collapse, economic desperation, calculated planning, technological innovation, and, at times, sheer opportunity. When World War I ended, Germany descended into chaos. Kaiser Wilhelm II faced intense pressure from both the public and the military and was forced to abdicate in November 1918. A provisional government quickly replaced the monarchy, and by the following year, the Weimar Republic was established with Friedrich Ebert as its first president. Almost immediately, the new government faced enormous challenges. The Treaty of Versailles severely limited Germany's military to just 100,000 men, forced the country to accept full responsibility for the war, demanded crippling reparations, and stripped Germany of significant territory. These terms humiliated the nation and undermined confidence in the young republic. Economic disaster soon followed. Hyperinflation destroyed savings, unemployment soared, and the Great Depression pushed millions into poverty. For many working-class Germans, this period marked a breaking point. Fear of communist revolution grew, and trust in democratic institutions rapidly eroded. In this environment of desperation and instability, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party emerged as a powerful alternative. Promising national revival, economic recovery, and a return to military strength, the Nazis gained widespread support. By 1932, they had become the largest party in parliament, and the following year Hitler was appointed chancellor. Once in power, Hitler moved quickly. His early weeks in office fundamentally reshaped Germany's future. Through propaganda, intimidation, and legal manipulation, the Nazi Party consolidated control from within. Civil liberties were rolled back, political opponents, especially communists, were suppressed, and emergency powers were invoked to weaken democratic checks and balances. The Enabling Act soon followed, granting Hitler the authority to pass laws without parliamentary approval. With this, he effectively became the undisputed ruler of Germany. One of his central objectives was restoring and expanding Germany's military power. In open violation of the Treaty of Versailles, rearmament began almost immediately. In 1935, the Wehrmacht was created as a unified military force, encompassing the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Defense spending surged, conscription was reinstated, and Hitler positioned himself as the supreme commander of the armed forces. Despite skepticism and resistance from some military leaders, early successes strengthened Hitler's position. German troops reoccupied the Rhineland, a heavily industrialized and strategically critical region, without Allied intervention. This bold move convinced many officers that the Western powers lacked the will to stop Germany. Subsequent territorial expansions, including Austria, the Sudetenland, and later Czechoslovakia, further boosted Germany's economy and industrial output. Allied nations, committed to a policy of appeasement, failed to respond forcefully. Each success silenced internal opposition and increased public support for the regime. By the time Germany prepared to invade Poland, the military was fully mobilized, confident, and backed by popular approval. Germany's leadership understood that it could not afford a long war. To avoid a prolonged conflict against stronger industrial powers, the German military adopted a strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. While not entirely new, Blitzkrieg combined traditional concepts of rapid victory with modern technology. Tanks, motorized infantry, aircraft, and radio communication were integrated into a highly coordinated system focused on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force at critical points. This strategy proved devastatingly effective. German forces used Blitzkrieg to overwhelm Poland and then rapidly defeated Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, France, Yugoslavia, and Greece. Enemy defenses were pierced at their weakest points, armored units pushed deep behind lines, and air power prevented effective counterattacks. Entire armies were encircled and forced to surrender. France, in particular, was stunned by the speed of the German advance through the Ardennes forest, leading to a collapse far quicker than anyone had expected. After the fall of France, Germany turned its attention eastward. In June 1941, Operation Barbarossa was launched, the largest military invasion in history, aimed at conquering the Western Soviet Union. Initially, the German advance was overwhelming. Soviet forces were caught unprepared, and within weeks, hundreds of miles of territory had fallen. Thousands of aircraft were destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of Red Army soldiers were killed or captured. But Blitzkrieg had its limits. As the months passed, Germany faced the vast distances of the Soviet Union, harsh winter conditions, and increasingly organized resistance. Soviet industry relocated east, manpower reserves proved immense, and Allied support began to flow. The war stretched on far longer than Germany had planned. The Soviet counter-offensive marked a decisive turning point, and from that moment forward, Germany was fighting a war it could no longer win. The early effectiveness of the German army was the result of multiple factors: ideological fanaticism, rapid rearmament, industrial mobilization, territorial expansion without immediate retaliation, innovative tactics, and capable officers. Just as important were the strategic mistakes and delays of Germany's opponents. Although Germany ultimately lost the war, its early victories remain a powerful example of how planning, technology, and opportunity can briefly combine to create the illusion of invincibility. This overview intentionally simplifies complex events to highlight the key reasons behind the German army's effectiveness during the early years of the Second World War. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.